everyone. How are you doing today? Hope you all are doing fantastic. Um, yesterday we had such a great day, gray, I should say, day. And today is beautiful sunshine in New York. Yes. So I hope where you are having a great day as well. I hope it's nice and sunshiny wherever you are. um, it's so great to see all of my friends in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. If I could get a quick thumbs up that you could hear me, that is so would be so awesome. I'm gonna scroll all the way down and see if I get a thumbs up. Hello, hello, hello. I see Sylvia and Amal, and I see Church Nelly. Hi, Church Nelly and Lydia. Thank you so much, our awesome moderators. And I don't see Julia Rockers yet. Thank you, Julia, if you are in the chat. And I'm going to scroll up in a second to see if you are there. Hi, thank you, Sarah and Everday, for the thumbs up. I see you, and Elaine, Church Nelly, as I said, and Sylvia and Mary, and Adrian and Elaine and Sarah, and I think I said you already. Betty, hi. Lydia, hi. There you are, Lydia, up there. Let's see who else is here. Carolyn, and yes, I think I got everyone. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I saw this incredible chat for this post from Church Nelly. Yes, thank you, Church Nelly. And when I saw this post, I was like, oh shoot, I should have had a picture of her, and I don't have a picture of her. Congratulations to our new Supreme Court Justice. Yay, Ketanji Brown. Oh, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, on becoming the first woman to be a Supreme Court justice, and we are all celebrating. We're all celebrating and screaming and jumping yesterday, and boo to the Republicans who voted thumbs down or no, including Tim Scott, a black senator. I will, but let's just ignore him and just celebrate Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination and and confirmation, I should say. And she is our new, and will be when she's confirmed, and when she already, when she does that, swearing in and all that stuff that they do, will be our first black Supreme Court justice. And Lord, in the year of our Lord 2022, we are still saying first black. I mean, this is I mean, it's disgraceful to think of it that we're in the year 2022 and we're still saying the first black woman to do something. And it's just like, but you know what? Amen. Progress takes time, I guess, and this took a while. But congratulations. Thank you, Church Nelly, for putting that up and all. I swear, Church Nelly is the queen of emojis. I love it. But anyways, welcome to Facts and Two Cents, you guys. Facts and Two Cents podcast. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Harry, Meghan, Big Boy Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, and the chickens. That's us. That's who we support. That's who we celebrate. That's whose work we celebrate. We do jump over the pond, which we'll do today, to visit the wretched ones on Shutter Island. And so we'll be visiting some of their wretchedness today as they do whatever wretched thing they do over there. So, anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Oh, I see 96 of our wonderful friends are here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And as you see our little scrolly thing going by on the bottom there, please, if you haven't already, subscribe. Jump in and subscribe. It's right at the bottom of this video. Click the subscribe button. Also, you can join our 2 cents crew. You can join our channel to support the channel on a monthly basis to help us to do fun stuff with the channel that we normally wouldn't do because funds are tight. So I thank you guys for our wonderful, wonderful community who have already signed up and have joined our 2 cents crew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There are a lot of ways you can support the channel, including one, joining. We do have PayPal, we do have Cash App. That's another way as well. Of course, with all of this, there's no obligation. If you like what we do and want to support us, we are thankful. Something else, again, the background, my dad is his wonderful artwork that he so graciously allowed me to use. Thank you, Daddy. People have asked where how they can purchase prints. The link will be in the show notes. I'm actually going to do the show notes for this at the end of the video. So give me about 10 minutes after this video is over. I didn't get a chance to do it before, but the link would be in the show notes of this video. Or if you can't wait, it's in the link. The link is in the show notes of the video yesterday. So either way it works. But anyway, jumping in to our our little Shutter Island mess. Let's just add these people. Yeah, I don't know how many people have seen this or even know that this is happening, but Netflix has this documentary out about Jimmy Savile, and if you guys don't know, Jimmy Savile is one of those notorious pedophiles that lurked around England and doing wrecking havoc in the lives of children, adults, the dead, including this. I mean, we talked about Jersey Island, that Jersey Island, that tax haven, the Queen's tax haven. Well, that was also Jimmy Savile's playground and one of the orphanages there, where they found monstrous things that he and other pedophiles have done to children there. Um, so there's this documentary. I am going to watch it today. I was supposed to watch it yesterday, last night, and I was so tired, I fell right off to sleep. So I don't know if anybody has seen it. So this is it. Jimmy Savile, a British horror story. And honestly, one of the things that they said about this documentary is how everybody was fooled by Jimmy Savile, including politicians and obviously Prince Charles, who was his very dear friend, so close that he actually wanted Jimmy Savile to be Prince Harry's godfather. Oh Lord. Thank God for Princess Diana and some, intelligent person. Oddly enough, there was one intelligent person in the palace. So it was like, no, poor Prince Harry, Lord forbid that had happened. But anyways, this man has a sordid history, and so it's on Netflix, and so I'm gonna watch it today, and I'm gonna probably talk about it tomorrow, and I'm sure YouTube will probably penalize me for talking about it because they don't tend to like to, us talking about, this sort of thing, and they will, take away funding for, advertising dollars from us if we do. So I'm most likely gonna lose that funding tomorrow, but I want to talk about this because this is important. So anyway, I don't know if anybody watched it. I'm gonna just check the chat right now to see if anybody has seen it and what their take on this is for like a 2 seconds before we get into what we actually gonna talk about. Prince Charles corruption. So let me see. Anybody saw anybody? Hi, Gillian. I see you. Hi. How are you? Let's see. Oh, Elaine. Elaine says he had free reign of our local hospitals when he raised money for. He also had the keys to Stokes. Oh boy, Mandeville Hospital. Yes, because he did stuff with the dead as well. It's very sordid, and yeah, oof. England, boy, you got to pass there. Let's see who else has seen it. Or let's see the chat. Anybody else has seen it? Church Nelly, let's see. Church Nelly said, "What is this with the British monarch associating with Peter?" There's a thing. I mean, that's part of who they are. I mean, what is it? What is his name? I think is Lord Mountbatten or whatever his name was. Something Mountbatten. He was Prince Charles's mentor, his beloved mentor. That's who he was. His taste was young boys. He was very much a pedophile, and he basically groomed Prince Charles. And I think he also was in the life of Prince Charles's father, Prince Philip. So who knows? Don't know if if he did anything, sexually to them, but definitely Prince Charles was always with Lord Mountbatten. It just is one of those things with the royal family. So when you see Prince Andrew do what he, did what he did, it's not surprising. It's part of who they are, unfortunately. So let's see. Let's see who else. Oh, Jay Patterson, I totally understand. She said, Jay said, not yet. I find these docs hard to watch. They are very hard to watch, and which is probably the reason I probably fell asleep last night. My body's like, no, but I want to watch it because it's important, and it's because again, we don't know history. We are bound to repeat these things, even though people know and they're still doing it. But so let's see who else, and then we are going to jump. Let's see, Dale. What did you say, Dale? Dale said that's why they are so messed up, being left to child molesters. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are very much a messed up people. So yeah, they're definitely that. Um, Elaine said Mountbatten was Philip's uncle. Yes. Okay, there you go. And definitely Charles's favorite person. Thank you so much, Elaine. But anyway, moving on from that to what we're actually going to be talking about today is Prince Charles's corruption. And if you guys remember, I think back in December we talked about, among other things with Prince Charles's corruption, is uh, we talked about Prince Charles basically throwing Prince Harry under the bus. And, it was this big thing where it was just like, what? What are you talking about? And Prince Harry is like, no, I don't think so. Katie, how do you say your name? Before I jump in, let's just say thank you. Here we go. Let's put a highlight on that. Thank you so much. Is it Catty K or Katie K? Um, However you say it, and you can probably give me a phonetics in the chat of how you say your name. But thank you so much. I really appreciate your donation. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you. But anyways, jumping back into the story. So yeah, Prince, and so this is what the Sunday Times that Gabriel Pagan and his partner at the Sunday Times and the Times have been reporting out on this story since July. Was it July 31st? That this whole started with the cash for access and all of that stuff. And so in September and December and all, I mean, from July straight on, it seems like every month or every couple of weeks we have one of these stories relating to this leak of Prince Charles and his corrupt ways with cash for access and cash for honors. And so yeah, this in December, they came out with this crazy story that Prince Harry introduced, it was Prince Harry who basically introduced Prince Charles to Mr. Mahfouz, the Saudi Arabian billionaire who Prince Charles basically sold the CBE to. And they say Mahfouz's relationship with Harry appears to have helped pave the way for his introduction to Charles, to Mr. Mahfouz's introduction to Charles. The heir to the throne's right-hand man, Michael Fawcett, had been told that Mr. Mahfouz had a long track record of philanthropy and was sent details of his donation to Harry's Haiti charity before he met with Charles. And so again, basically, they are basically saying again that it was Harry who basically his relationship with Mr. Mahfouz and Mr. Mahfouz sending money to Harry Charity. That is how Prince Charles, the poor prince that knows nothing, that everybody's doing all this horrible thing to, that is how he was introduced to Mr. Mahfouz. And so Prince Harry, and God bless Prince Harry for walking out of the palace now, can defend himself. And if you guys can remember, Prince Harry put out a statement. And part of his statement was like, he says, the Duke and his advisors, as well as his nonprofit Santibali, severed ties with Mr. Mahfouz and his associates in 2015, no longer accepting donations to Santibali and discontinuing any plan for a fundraiser event amid growing concerns over the motives for his support. I'm sorry, I can't read today. The Duke had one planned meeting with this donor nearly 8 years ago, did not introduce him to any members of the royal family, and expressed his concerns about the donor. And Harry was like, no, I will not be thrown under the bus. I will not take responsibility for something I had nothing to do with, you know? And it is crazy that that Prince Charles and Clarence House allowed this to be, instead of saying, no, 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 my son had nothing to do with that, they allowed this story to go forward that Harry is the one who introduced him to Mr. Mahfouz. And I guess that none of them, at least definitely not the press, expected Harry to be like, no, you will not throw me under a bus. I will not take the blame for this. I will not fall on the sword for you. And so Harry did that and, saying no. And we all know that the whole Harry introduced, Charles to Mr. Mahfouz nonsense, that it was nonsense because on September 4th, the same time, they wrote this, the same Gabriel Pagan and his partner, and I am so sorry. I always keep forgetting the name of his. I think his name is Depeche. His co-writer for the Times. But this is what they wrote on September 4th about the same incident about Prince Charles and his relationship to Mr. Mahfouz. It says the Saudi businessman, Mr. Mahfouz's fixers, contacted those close to Charles about the prospect of an honor as early as 2011. In leaked correspondence, they were explicit about the transactional nature of the arrangement in exchange for giving large sums of money to Charles's charities. His team would secure the honor. Mahfouz and his fixers soon attended a meeting with Charles and Fawcett at Clarence House. Again, 2011. According to their own reporting, Prince Harry did not meet Mr. Mahfouz until 2 years later, 2013. And so, from their own reporting, we can see way back in 2011, Mahfouz's team was like, look, this is what we want. We're going to give you large sum of money, but we want to secure an honor. And at the beginning, it was an OBE, then they bumped it up to a CBE, which ended up happening. So this all happened, and then this story came out, and I don't know if many people saw it because it just came and flew by, and nobody really was really talking about it. So let me get Depeche because I want to give him also credit for this story. Depeche Gedar, that's Gabriel Pagan and Depeche Gedar are the reporters who have been reporting out on this story. So I do want to credit him because I always credit Gabriel Pagan. So good going, Depeche. So this story came out. Leaked emails tells of Prince Harry's concerns over Saudi in cash for access row. And this was part of why Prince Harry was upset because in his statement he said the Times knew the story. They knew that he had no business, that he had no dealings and had no play in this cash for honors, especially and cash for access thing. But they still went ahead with a story that he introduced his father to Mr. Mahfouz. That was one of the reasons Harry was really upset about it. It's like, you have the information, however you got it, you've been reporting on it, so obviously you know the facts. Why are you including my name into all of this? And so this went on to say, the article went on to say, this weekend, detectives were examining a letter sent to Mahfouz's representatives by Michael Fawcett, Charles's long-standing confidant and former head of the Princess Foundation, in which Fawcett said he would be happy to back the Saudis' nomination for the honor. And again, detectives from the Met Police are investigating because cash for honors is against the law. So they're investigating. One of the things they're investigating, they said is the attempt is to establish whether Clarence House or Prince Charles knew about Fawcett's dealing with Mahfouz, i.e., Fawcett, doing the deal with the cash, getting the cash, and then with the honors. And it says Charles 7. The key question is, did Charles know? We all know that the answer to that, although Charles 73 said he had no knowledge of any trade off between donation and honors, and that Harry's apparent concerns were never shared with him. Once again, Prince Charles says, I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm innocent. Everybody around me is they're doing all this shady stuff, and I am the sweet little innocent little lamb, and I don't know anything. And everyone, is looking at me, and I am just this innocent, sweet person that everybody is just taking advantage of. That's a sweet baby Charles in just about everything. And so it goes on to says Harry's dealing. It says today's revelation centers on Harry's dealings with Mahfouz in 2014 when Harry was seeking donations for Sentibali, a charity that he co-founded to help children affected with HIV in Lesotho, Southern Africa. Harry had agreed to private meetings with Mahfouz and his teenage son after being told that a $1 million donation was on offer. And it turned out that Harry only had one meeting. He had agreed that they would meet different times, but it turned out that they only had that one in-person meeting. And at one stage, the donation was considered the donation was considered so imminent that the charity included it in drafts of an annual account. And we've seen Sentibali put out these annual accounts. They recently just put out one. It was so there. They really thought they were getting this money that they even included it into that account. However, in the spring of 2014, Mahfouz's representative told Mark Dyer, a Sentibali trustee and former royal equerry known as Harry's second dad, and you'll see why he is Harry's second dad in a second, that there was a new precondition. Mahfouz wanted Harry to take a private visit to Saudi Arabia to meet him and his family, potentially within days. Only then would the funds be transferred. And it was like, oh, wait, okay. So they met, they had this whole thing, and all of a sudden, Mahfouz switched it up. A new precondition. The only way they're going to give Harry the money is if Harry go to Saudi Arabia within a couple of days. And only if that happens are they going to receive the money. And so Mark Dyer, responded to it, and he's like on March, 31st in 2014, Mark responded to them in an email. He's like, are you really saying that if Prince Harry commits to a trip to Saudi Arabia, you will receive the donation? If that's the case, I need to now brief the board as the accounts have all been revised and signed off on the books on the back of receiving $1 million, £1 million. I'm sorry, I keep saying dollars. Anytime you hear me say dollars, I mean pounds when I'm referring to anything England. I keep saying dollars, but £1 million donation. I am seeing Prince Harry at Windsor. I'm seeing Prince Harry, or PH, it stands for Prince Harry, today at Windsor. I will brief him on the situation and see if he wants to commit to a trip. But this certainly was not our understanding. It is starting to bring into question cash for access. And again, if you look back at the top of this this little clip, this is happening in 2014. Way back in 2014, Mark Dyer, who is working with Prince Harry and is Prince Harry's second dad, or referred to as Prince Harry's second dad, he is raising like, whoa, this is cash. This is like, if we're going to do that, where the only way Prince Harry is going to get this money is if he comes to Saudi Arabia, within days, this is going to be cash for access. So if Mark Dyer knew this in 2014, that this little deal of going to Saudi Arabia, and that the only way Prince Harry is going to get that money is if he goes and make himself available to Mr. Mahfouz's family to take pictures and all that stuff, that is cash for access. So how is it they could know that and Prince Charles's team doesn't know this? And they don't know that this is wrong. This is like, you don't do that. And so Mark Dyer goes on. It says, the same day, Mahfouz's representative respond by insisting the proposed Saudi visit was originally been mooted by Charles at the CH or Clarence House's meeting, a gathering at Clarence House weeks earlier. On that occasion, Charles was said by the representative to have encouraged the idea of Harry visiting the Arab kingdom. Again, Mark Dyer is like, when he hears about this, he's like, this is cash for access. And now what the representative for Mr. Mahfouz is saying, that this whole thing with Harry going to Saudi Arabia was Charles's idea. Charles is the one that encouraged the idea that Harry goes. And it's like, we talked about this last time with Prince Andrew involving his children in his corrupt schemes, bringing these nefarious characters, these corrupt characters around his daughters, and not involving them in this, defrauding this elderly lady of her money, and having his daughter's name and having money from her account transferred to, Eugenie and his wife, and using, having, 750,000 pounds from this lady's account used in the name of Beatrice, claiming that it's, to pay for Beatrice's wedding. This is the same pattern with the royal family. They include their children in their corrupt behavior. One of the reasons I think they do this is because later down the road, if their children decide, I'm going to bail like Harry and Meghan did, they have something to hold over their head. They have something they can feed to the press. When they need somebody to throw under the bus, they have something they can feed to the press. And this is exactly what Charles did. And hence why we have the Times saying that Harry introduced Mahfouz to Prince Charles. This is exactly, they held onto these stories so that they can do this kind of thing. And to know that his own father, and again, whenever you see royal family go to the Middle East, whether it's Saudi Arabia or whatever, Prince William just did the same thing, a few months ago. It's usually never the reason why they say they're going. There's always some kind of thing in the background, whether it's money, getting money, whether it's doing some kind of arms deal. And if you guys, there's this media outlet called Declassified that details, they have series of how the royal family, their relationship with Mideast kingdoms, and all the corrupt things that happened from the Queen to Prince Charles to Prince Andrew. All of them are involved in this stuff. And so there is just a lot of corrupt stuff that happens between them. And to see Prince Charles being the one to suggest that Harry go there. And it's just, okay. Anyways, and so in June, Mark, Dyer writes back, and he basically says to them, there is concern. There is a concern, and we have to be very careful going forward. At no stage have we committed to this visit. We discussed maybe in the future meeting privately for a weekend on a boat. That's, Harry was discussing, times that they could meet. The POW, or Prince of Wales, obviously mentioned it in passing conversation. That doesn't mean Prince Harry comes next week. He is keen for his son to see that part of the world, but not next week. At the top of this little clip, Mark Dyer talked about having a long chat with the Prince or the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, and his private secretary. And this is what he is conveying from the chat with Prince Charles and his private secretary. Again, the Prince of Wales obviously mentioned it in passing conversation. That doesn't mean Prince Harry comes next week. He is keen on his son being part of his son seeing part of that world, but not next week. What has now happened is a promise of £1 million donation, but it now comes with a commitment to a visit. That was not my understanding. I then discussed with Prince PH, or Prince Harry, and quite rightly, he has major concern that we are losing touch with what this is all about what this is about. It's not about Mahfouz meeting PH, Prince Harry. and introducing him to his friends and Mahfouz's advisors, having many photos as possible of Prince Harry on their desk. It is about children of Lesotho and Sentebale making a difference in their lives. And I just love this so much because it shows the difference between Prince Harry and future King Prince Charles. Because Prince Harry is like, whoa, hold up. When we got together, we were talking about making a difference in the lives of children in Lesotho, the Sentebale community, making a difference in the lives of these kids who have HIV and AIDS. This is not about me coming and taking pictures and meeting family and which is nice, great, but this isn't money isn't about me getting that money isn't about the pictures and to say, well, yes, I meet a prince and all that stuff. It's about making a difference in these children's lives. And so I was just like, even back then in 2014, this is what 30-year-old Harry, just I think he probably just turned 30, whatever. But Harry is having such a heart, and I think too, it's like you see that, and I think that's why people just relate so much to Harry, because Harry really has a heart for the people that he serves. This is not about the money, which is great to help them, but his focus is always the people that he is serving, the kids that he's serving, the community that he is serving. So, and so Mark Dyer goes on. He says, there is a possibility to visit, of a visit to Saudi Arabia. And if that happens, Prince Harry will visit them, but to be held over a barrel, I think is wrong, i.e. that cash for access is wrong. It would be a real shame if this falls through. Yes, that £1 million. And I think we need to start again and remember the first meeting with Prince Harry. What is now on the table is very different. It's like, he's like, let's reset. When we met with Prince Harry, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the kids. We're talking about making a difference. We weren't talking about Prince Harry going to Saudi Arabia. It says Mahfouz continued to engage with Harry and gave at least $50,000 to Sentebale, which we talked about in an earlier episode. Yet neither the £1 million donation nor the visit to Saudi Arabia materialized. And so, Mahfouz is like, well, if you're not going to come to Saudi Arabia, no £1 million for you. And so I guess that was that. And then Harry, as his statement said, in 2015, the following year, they cut ties with Mahfouz. And what happened after that? Mahfouz instead increased his donation to charities connected to Charles. After his aides made clear that they would entertain the businessman's desires for access. In 2014, the future king hosted Mahfouz for a weekend at Dumfries House, the royal residence. That's the place where they have like the Mahfouz garden. Mahfouz donated all that money, and now he has a garden there named after him. And in 2015, they met at the British Embassy in Riyadh, and in 2016, Charles gave Mahfouz his CBE at Buckingham Palace. And we talked about all of this in a previous episode, and I mean, I think this just shows how different Charles and Prince Harry, how different they are. Because the moment Mahfouz realized he cannot buy Prince Harry, what did he do? He increased his donation to Prince Charles, because Charles's people made it clear that they would entertain cash for access. They would take the money to give him an honor. And it's just like, you see how, I'm telling you, Prince Harry should be king. That is who should be king. Prince Charles has no business being king, being the next king. I mean, I want their monarchy to be abolished, but, if there's going to be a king, Prince Charles should not be, And again, We looked at this in a previous episode, but here is Prince Charles. This, like they said, in 2015, here is Prince Charles in Riyadh, at the Riyadh, the British Embassy in Riyadh, meeting Mahfouz and his family. Enjoying that, and we know 24 hours after this is when they got the word. Mr. Mahfouz got the word that the CBE is a go. After months of it languishing somewhere in CBE hell somewhere, 24 hours after Prince Charles met with Mahfouz, this meeting in 2015, 24 hours later, the CBE was a go. And then 1 year later, or at least a few months later, in 2016, here is Prince Charles at Buckingham Palace in that very secret ceremony with Mr. Mahfouz. And again, as you guys know, with these ceremonies, there are usually tons of people getting these awards together. This one was so secret, it was not even in the court circular. It was just Mr. Mahfouz and his family taking over Buckingham Palace. Here's another picture with Charles and him and Queen Camilla at Buckingham Palace with Mr. Mahfouz. Prince Charles, and it just, no, with this whole thing, Prince Charles is like, I'm so innocent. I'm so innocent. I know nothing. And it's just like, I can't believe there's a whole country of people are not on his head like, what, we will not tolerate or accept your lies. There's photographic evidence of all the things this article says. Yet there's no outrage. There is no outrage at all. So anyways, the article goes on to talk about, that initially, and what the police is looking at initially, part of what they're looking at initially, that it was the deal was that they'll get the money, and they're gonna help him get the OBE, and then it says following a discussion in July 2014 about potential donation worth of $10 million pounds, again me under dollars, $10 million pounds. Well, what do you know? What ends up happening in 2016? That was bumped. The OBE was bumped up to a CBE. Yes, those CBEs. And it says the Clarence House spokesman says the Prince of Wales had no knowledge of the alleged offer of honors on the basis of donation to his charities. Palace sources. Oh yes, those unnamed palace sources that are so honest. Palace sources said Charles did not encourage Harry to visit Saudi Arabia. Oh, sure. A spokesman for Harry declined comment. Harry's like, I'm not even going to deal with this. I don't want to. Just leave my name out of your mouth. Leave my name out of your mouth. And the Princess Foundation is like, it would not be appropriate to comment on an ongoing investigation. And again, the ridiculousness of Prince Charles claiming, I don't know nothing. Meanwhile, back in 2014, we got this. It was Charles who came, Mahfouz's people just, sold you out way back in 2014, saying it was Charles who came up with the idea. Charles who encouraged the idea of Prince Harry going to Saudi Arabia. There's no evidence, or I don't see where he literally went to Harry and be like, Harry, you must go to Saudi Arabia. But he's the one who brought it up. He's the one who encouraged the idea. Again, and then the article goes on to say the fact that Harry, then age 30, expressed caution about the tycoon will cast doubts over the judgment of the future king, who went on to meet Mahfouz on a number of occasions in Britain and Saudi Arabia. Again, why on earth has there been no outrage? The fact that this man is going to be the head of state, yet he's done all this stuff, and nobody's pretty much, it's like the story comes on a Sunday or whenever they drop it. They usually drop these stories on a Sunday, and by Monday, everyone seems to have forgotten. Everyone forgot that, oh yes, the head of state has sold access, he's involved in cash for access. He's selling access to the royal family. He's, part of this Mahfouz deal was he sold access to the Queen and, then Prince Philip when he was alive. So Mr. Mahfouz had access to black Brits accept these ridiculous things. And but back to Charles, you know, there has been basically no outrage. And there's been no serious conversation. Yes, the Met Police claiming that they are investigating, but really, who believes the Met Police are going to do anything about this? They're not going to do anything about this at all. You know, so I just I mean, the more I look at this is, I think in terms of Prince Charles as a father, and I am like, this between him and Megan's father, I'm not even going to say his name, Megan's father, they have to be two of the worst people I have ever come, I mean, I'm sure they are worse, but in terms of this kind of thing, they're two of the worst in how they have used their children in these, and try to destroy their children's lives and reputation in every way possible. I mean, I can't imagine what it must like to know that this is your father. To say that's my father, and to look at the difference between Prince Charles and Mark Dyer. Mark Dyer is like, no, I am supporting Prince Harry. This is cash for access, and this is not what we agreed in. This is no, you know, and see how Mark Dyer, Prince Harry's, you know, second dad, which honestly, from how much he has protected Harry, that should really be Harry's dad. Prince Charles is, I will use whomever I can throw under the bus or whomever will make me money. That's been Prince Charles's whole thing. Whoever will fall on the sword for me. That would be the person I would protect. If you're not falling on the sword for me, or whatever, or you're beneath or you're below me in rank, the only good you are to me is I can throw you under the bus. And that's what Prince Charles has always done. So I just, my heart breaks for Prince Harry. Just the thought that this is the man who is his father. And it's just, and I think for Prince Harry, that's why I think he's so much of a hands-on dad, and what he talked about, um, whatever he experienced, he would not want that for Archie. And so I just, oh, I, I just, I appreciate so much how much Prince Harry wants to be different from what Prince Charles is. But, but that's it for this little, thing. But I just thought, back then everybody was attacking Prince Harry for not falling on the sword, that Harry's, how dare Harry throw his father under the bus. And it's like this whole thing has been Prince Charles throwing Harry under the bus. And, thank God that Harry's in a situation that he is not going to accept or not going to allow anyone in the royal family to use him as a scapegoat. So kudos, Prince Harry. And Prince Charles, dude, ugh, I long for the day that Brits stand up and hold this man accountable for what he has done. But anyway, I don't know what you guys have thought about this. Again, you may have heard about this, you may not. I'm just going to jump into the chat and see what you guys think about this. Give me a second. I'm going to remove this from the stream. Yeah, let's see what you guys think about this. Let's see. Donna Black says, let's see what you said, Donna. They would rather see Prince Harry laid out drunk on the sidewalk than him be happily married to Meghan because her mother is black, and that's the fact. Yeah, that definitely is the truth. I mean, that's why we have these stories about, oh, I wish Harry was the way he was before. I wish, that party boy Harry, that they all claim to love so much. Never mind that Harry was, doing some substances and really getting into all kinds of mess. But that's the Harry that they want there, because then they don't have to improve. They can look at that and feel like, oh, well, if Harry can do that, then I am, I'm good. This improved Harry is no, because that'll hold them to a higher standard. They don't want that. So let's see, Lynn. Let's see what Lynn says. Lynn, just saying hello to everyone. I just listened to a couple of minutes. It seems as if Charles was setting up Harry. Yep. What a father. Geez, he's evil. Yeah, it's that's what they do. It's the same thing. Again, Andrew did the same thing. They're setting him up. They collect information on you, and so that they can use it to feed to the press when they need to throw somebody under the bus. Princess Diana talked about that when she was having bouts of bulimia. I think it was Martin Bashir asked her if she had ever talked to the members of the royal family about it. You guys can go back and watch the interview, and she said no. She said that she didn't think they would help. What they would do instead of helping her is that they would record that. They would keep a record of that so that they can use it against her. And that is how the royal family operate in all of these things. They would, as we saw with Prince Charles, you know, basically shove their kids into these situations so that when the heir and the heir to the throne, or ones closest to the throne, when they need someone to throw under the bus, they will feed those stories to the press, and that is what they would do. And again, you just saw Andrew did the same thing with his kids, although I don't think or it didn't seem he is the one that fed that story to the press, but somehow that story got to the press. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see what else. Let's see. Claudia, hi Claudia Bondswell, hi Claudia. Claudia says, what I want to know is why are the British royal family so money hungry? They have so much and yet they want more. Claudia, greed is a hell of a thing. Greed is a hell of a thing. Yes, England, the royal family owns most of the land in the UK. Most, I think they are the biggest landowners. Plus, they own land in different countries where the Queen is head of state or former colonies. They own land all over the place. Yet, the royal family, they seem to never have enough. They want more. And they're always, like, for example, Charles, and you see it with Andrew, they're always looking for money. They always seem to attach themselves to people with some kind of criminal past, some kind of money laundering, some kind of corrupt thing, especially the billionaires from the Middle East or from those royal kingdoms in the Middle East or from Russia. They seem to gravitate to these people, and they seem to that's where they usually go for their money. So it just I greed, 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 and they are corrupt. So let's see. Or the impossible. What did you say? Why is it only British royals have such? Why is only the British royals have such bad name dealing with pedophiles? The family that rich? I don't think so. Um. Okay. All the impossible don't think they're that rich. I mean, all indication is that they are extremely wealthy. Although a lot of times with aristos, they a lot of them are land rich or homes rich. They have these mega homes and stuff, but not exactly have ready cash. And so who knows? Maybe that's the case where they have all these property and don't have ready cash and they need ready cash to fund whatever. Who knows? But according to everything that is out there and I've seen, is that they are very, very wealthy people and they get money, not only money from taxpayers, but they have the crown estates and all that stuff that bring in. There's the Duchy of Cornwall that brings in money for Prince Charles, and then the Duchy of Lancaster brings in money for the Queen. So they make a ton of money. A lot of them may have, also live above their means, as in the case of Prince Andrew. He doesn't have the Duchy of Lancaster. He doesn't have the Duchy of Cornwall. I think he gets money from the Queen via the Duchy of Lancaster because he's not working. He's not a quote unquote working royal, so apparently he doesn't get money um from taxpayers. But whatever, however it is they get money, they are still very wealthy compared to us peasants, us lowly people. So yeah, let's see what else. Terry. Hi, Terry. How are you today? Charles, having no knowledge as to what's going on around him, seems like he is absent. He's the absent-minded prince who will be king one day. I know. It's. I mean, they need to decide. You either have a prince that is so completely clueless that he has absolutely no idea what's happening, or you have somebody who is just corrupt and lying and just completely devoid of any ethics whatsoever, neither of which are good. And so, if I'm in England, I'm starting to like, okay, how is this guy going to be king? How is this guy supposed to represent our country? How is this guy going to be head of state if he's just so clueless and everybody around him is doing all this horrible, corrupt, illegal stuff in a lot of ways, and he has no clue? How is that going to be a good person to be head of state of your country and representing your country and supposedly the standard for your country, the royals? On the flip side, if he is just completely corrupt, why is that a good thing for your country? Neither of those things are good. I mean, talk about the perfect, opportunity to become a republic. I mean, gosh, you live in a country where you're not even a citizen of your own country. You know, it's time. For the life of me, I don't understand why there's not much of an outrage, and people demanded like enough with these royals, enough of these people representing anybody. So yeah, that's my little rant on that. Let's see. And again, thank you so much, Church Nelly and Lydia, who are wonderful moderators in the chat. I don't know if I saw it. Did I see? Oh, I don't think I saw her. Anyway, let's see. Let's see. Oh, Black Queen, yes, love this celebration at the White House for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I know. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just such a wonderful thing. Sorry, we just completely switched from Prince Charles to back to Judge and future Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And it's so funny. One of my favorite pictures that came out of all of this, and I'm sure it's a lot of people's favorite pictures, is that of her daughter just looking at her so proud when she, during the hearing. And, I wish we could get a picture of her of just, what she must be thinking and feeling. Like that would be the picture I want to get at the swearing in when when she's sworn in. And so, yeah, that is definitely the picture that I would want to see of her daughter and also her husband looking at her so proud. And it's so funny because before I saw that picture, there was a picture that was at the that a photographer took with at the back of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson when she was raising her hand, and about when they were about to do when they were about to do the when she was about to testify, and there were all these white photographers, mostly male, in front of her. And I remember tweeting at that time, like, are there no black photographers, black female photographers? Are there no black male photographers in DC? Why are we, this lone black woman and all these white photographers? And I'm sorry, I don't, I'm not downing white photographers, but in 2022, that picture should not happen. There should be a mixture of photographers, whether black and white and Asian and Latino. There should be a mixture. And looking at it, it was just all white photographers. And so I remember tweeting that, and then a couple of days later, I saw that picture, and turns out a black female photographer took that picture. And I was just like, oh my goodness. It was just the most beautiful thing. And for me, that's why black women especially need to be in all these spaces. We see things, and not that, I'm not saying that a white photographer couldn't do it, couldn't get that shot, but we know the things that are important to our people. And that's why we need to represent in all these spaces. We need, especially women, black women, represent and be there to capture these moments, because for me, it's so much more special to know that a black sister was in that space and got that photo. And now it's one of the most iconic photos that came out of that, among others with just Justice Round. But I'm just like, yeah, I'm just so proud of that sister for getting that shot. And as a photographer, I'm all up into this, so I just have to throw that in there. But let's see. Let's see what else is. Joan. Hey, Joan. Joan says, oh, sorry. I just jumped into a conversation. Joan is talking to Anna, and Joan is saying, I don't see any purpose for the British royal family. They do nothing positive. I don't see a purpose for them. I don't see, they could go ahead and be royals if they want to, but I don't see I don't see why British taxpayers are funding these people, as we've seen with Harry and Meghan. You can do the same work and better without taxpayer funds. You go ahead and stay royal and stay, aristocratic and do whatever, but not on other people's dime. There is no reason why taxpayers in England are paying, or the UK are paying these people to do work that they can do without that money. Again, Prince Harry and Meghan are the models for that. So that's that on that one. Let's see what else. Claudia. Claudia's like, no, Petal. Harry said he doesn't want to be king. Absolutely. But I mean, king of hearts, I don't think in terms of Harry being literally the king of England in the sense of the monarchy. I, personally want that thing abolished. No, I think of it in terms of Princess Diana talked about, she would never be queen, but she would be queen of people's hearts, and in that way, I think the, if I were to have a king, and if there were to, if the monarchy was to be there, and if I had the choice between Prince Charles and Prince Harry, and if it wasn't this, well, I came out of my mama's womb first thing, then if I'm looking at, everyone in the royal family who is in line to that throne, and I'm looking at the characters and who they are and what they've done and their passion for the people they serve, Prince Harry is the person that would be king. He is the one that anybody would choose. Anybody with any brain, any common sense. He is the one. Certainly not William. William is like has the brain of a pea, and Charles is completely corrupt in every sense of the word. And until and obviously William's little ones are little, so you can't exactly put them there. It's like if there was a choice for any common sense person looking at that, if there was people had a choice of who should be king, it would be Harry, not Prince Charles. So that's my thinking. But I would Prince Harry be king of hearts, just like his mama. That's my thing on that. So let's see. Donna says Prince Harry is the smartest one in the clan. I agree. He made sure that his character was not tarnished. That's why he came out fighting every time that family tries to involve him in their corruption schemes. Exactly, Donna. And I always go back to the Oprah Winfrey interview when Harry said, and I quote, I have seen behind the curtain. I have seen the business model, and I don't want to be part of it. Harry said it. It's like, and you're seeing it. It's like you're seeing what Harry, and again, this whole thing that was leaked to the Times came out. It was something that was done in 2014. Harry was only 30. And Harry's like, no, let's focus on what we're focusing on. It's about the kids. It's about who the people that we're serving. That is what Harry is about. It's and the wonderful thing about this is a person when you find out about them behind closed doors, away from the camera, when they think people aren't watching. And this is the situation with people weren't watching Harry there. They did back in 2014 didn't know that this would be exposed to the time, in 2022. But you see Harry's character comes out, and obviously on the reverse you also see Prince Charles' his character. So Adrian says, and we're gonna wrap this up in 2 seconds because it's 1 o'clock and we're gonna run over to Baron. It's Adrian says, just like Diana said, and was penalized for saying Charles shouldn't be king. Diana was right. He shouldn't, and that's the end of that. He should not be king. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this podcast, if you like what you hear, even if you don't and you're here, please subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. Um, please join our 2 cents crew as you see our little scrolly thing at the bottom there. And I remember to leave that little scrolly thing going there so everybody would remember. And please share. And again, at the bottom, you'll see a little scissor. Please feel free to use it. If there are parts of this video you'd like to share with someone, just use the little snippy scissor there. Cut out that little part and share it. It'll link back to the video. Please go ahead, knock yourselves out. It's something that YouTube, a kind of new thing YouTube throw there. And if it works, it works. And, if it doesn't work, I'll, take it off. But for now, if you'd like to share, please go ahead and do that. And again, there are other ways that you can support us. We do have merchandise. So please shop until you drop. The link, it will be in the show notes in about 5-10 minutes when I drop it in there. And also the background. It's the same link. Just scroll on through and you'll see it's my, those artwork you'll see on my dad's work. Please go ahead and knock yourselves out. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And please, hang out with me again. Hopefully I'll be able to do this tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. And bye, everyone. Hey, have fun with Byron. I'll probably pop over there in a minute myself. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Church Nelly. Thank you, Lydia. And Julia Rock. I don't think I saw Julia Rock today. If you're here and I completely missed you, thank you so much. Royal Sussex was here. I didn't even see him. Oh my gosh, Baron. So, Baron is saying that he's starting 30 minutes later today. Oh, I didn't even see this. Well, I guess Baron is going to be starting at 1:30. So, I did not see that at all. Oh boy. So, anyways, I will see you guys and anybody I missed from the earlier Aro, and let's see who else I missed. Did I miss anyone earlier? Donna, did I miss you? If I did, Cookies and Cream, Betty, let's see, Dale and Vera and Rosa and anyone I missed, please yell at me, yell at me, and in the comments. And so anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Lots of love. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Let's have some music to get us out.